Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tommy, just Tommy.
Fat.
Bit of a rebranding here on the channel, formerly known as tdizzaster. But with today's video, I want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn's remaster that's coming out the end of this month. But more importantly, more of a focus on this video, whether or not Sony has implemented a shift in replacing their male lead roles in video games with female-led roles. So let's jump into it.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
So starting off here, as we already have heard, Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a remaster, and it's coming to not only PS5, but also PC on October 31st of this year. So it's day and date with this title. I don't know if, I can't remember if there's any other Sony titles that have been day and date thus far, but with this remaster here, it is day and date, PS5 and PC, baby. And it's only been 4 short years from Horizon Zero Dawn's complete edition that got released. People are asking, who asked for this? Who wants Horizon Zero Dawn remastered? Why are we not getting a Bloodborne remaster? Why are we not getting a PS5 Bloodborne release? Or why are we not getting a new IP released or something like this? And I got caught up into that too, like, well, yeah, who did ask for this? And I had an epiphany. The fan base is who asked for this remaster. You see, when Sony makes a game and it's very well received and it's very popular, what they'll tend to do is beat a dead horse. They'll go back to the well so many times and remaster a game, not because they necessarily like it, but they know that it's gonna sell. It's a reassurance, essentially, for them. If you look at The Last of Us Part 1, the first The Last of Us game, they have went back to that well so many times. We've had The Last of Us on PS3, the remaster on PS4, the remake or whatever, re-release of The Last of Us Part 1. I mean, we've had The Last of Us Part 2, and then we had that remastered as well. We had Ghost of Tsushima, and then we had a director's cut. We had Demon Souls, and then we had the Demon Souls remake. So it only makes sense that, of course, Sony's going to go back and remaster a game that sold pretty decent and make it look better, because the fan base is ultimately going to buy it. And it doesn't really matter. Just like their hardware, it doesn't matter what they make. They know that their hardcore player base is just going to buy it regardless. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to see it and consume it. It's that simple. But more importantly, I saw some people on Twitter, X, and on YouTube here talking about whether or not Sony's replacing their male lead roles in video games. And there are a lot of people like, no, it came on the heels of Ghost of Yotei, I think that's how you pronounce it, being shown, which is the sequel, essentially, to Ghost of Tsushima. And people were not happy with it because it's now going to be a female lead character that you're going to be playing as. And I can't remember her name. But that's really what spawned a lot of this discussion. And I kind of broke it down here. This might not be all of them, but I kind of broke down all the franchises and how they went through, and they swapped out the male leads with some female leads. And I mean, my findings here, ladies and gentlemen, are a bit eye-opening. If we start off with just the Uncharted series, of course we had, 4 games with Nathan Drake. But then we had the last Uncharted, which I think was Lost Legacy. It starred Chloe and Nadine with no Nathan Drake. Okay, you can kind of look past that. But then you go to The Last of Us. We started off with Joel, but then in the second one, we had Ellie and Abby, 2 females. Okay. Well, then let's move over to Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank, a beloved series and IP. They've had so many games together. But then you have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and even though Ratchet isn't necessarily replaced, you now have a counterpart of Rivet, which is the female. Okay. Infamous. The first 2 Infamous games, you had Cole, I think his name is, I can't remember. It's been so long since I played the Infamous games. But then you had Second Son. You played as Delson. But then the DLC, Last Light, I think it was, you played as Abigail. It is definitely something to, not, I wouldn't say be concerned about, but it's definitely something to ask questions and have a dialogue about, I think. Of course, you have Ghost of Tsushima with Jin Sakai, but then you have Ghost of Yote, I think, like I said, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I have her name written down here, Atsu, I think, Atsu. But then if we move on to other games that didn't have male counterparts or male lead roles, we have the Horizon series. We also have Stellar Blade, just recent. Stellar Blade is a female lead character. Oh, another one, Returnal. That's a female protagonist, right? So it's, I know we still have the God of War series. We have Kratos, but we also have Atreus now. And who knows where they're going to go in any other DLC or other games. Who knows at this point. But it's a clear, you can tell if you played the 2018 and Ragnarok, you can definitely tell that they're working their way out of Kratos being the main protagonist that you're going to play as. They're really they're on track for that already. It's very clear if you played the games. So I wouldn't say it's a cause for concern, but it's definitely something that you can't dismiss. I don't think that someone can really look at this and go, oh, no, that's not what's happening. No, I don't believe that's what's happening. I mean, they can, but I believe that they're just lying to themselves at that point. You understand what I'm saying? You can't look at all this evidence and say, maybe there is something. Maybe there is some sort of agenda or focus or pivot that Sony is doing that they're changing or they're not changing the male leads to female leads, or just have a female-focused lead from Jump Street. It's kind of clear, in my opinion, that there's something like this that's happening. Now, it could be, under the whole guise of inclusion, but it's really hard to tell because, like you and I, we're not part of the development team. We don't know. This is all just speculation. This is all just our own perspectives of what we may think is actually happening. But I don't know. It could be that they're doing this, but they're not the only company, of course, that's doing this. Microsoft, we've seen with Gears 5, we had a female lead. Who else? What else are they? Fable, it looks like the new Fable that Xbox is going to be putting out. I don't know if it's going to be a creative character, but they've been pushing or showing nothing but a female lead in the Fable, the new Fable game. So who knows? We've gotten very little details on whether we're going to get a choice in the matter with this new one, which I hope we do. That's kind of like part of the Fable franchise, is having that choice. But who knows? Who really knows? I'm sure there's more details that I didn't, really find, but I'm sure there's someone out there that'll look way more, way further into this than I will. But it's definitely something that you can't really just dismiss, or if you do, you're just lying to yourself. That there's definitely something to look into this, and maybe kind of, it's something that you can question. It's something that makes you go, oh, maybe there is something more to this, or maybe there's not. But that's for me, that's what is interesting about all this. It gets the critical thought process firing off. And if it's not doing that for you, and you're just blindly going, no, they wouldn't do that, maybe you're part of the problem in the consumer base of the video game industry. But anyways, you guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Of course, if you like this video, hit me with a couple likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because it helps me out. It lets YouTube know that your boy's out here in a larger pond full of the other YouTubers that are way out there and way more popular at this moment in time. So it pushes my videos out there to let people know that, hey, your boy's here. But anyways, that's all I got to say about this video. It has been your boy. It's been real, and I am out. Later.